In this, we're going to be philosophizing on gaps in meaningful information, concerned with the navigations within unknown unknowns, developing more creative thinking through the elaborations of uncertainty within the self, whom willful approaches the unknown unknowns, increasing the curiosity in cultivation of existing priors. Some existing priors are more meaningful in the endeavor to creatively connect with soundness, new and or different thoughts in relation to meaningful utterances of thought formalized into truth statements composed of propositions and or sub-propositions to constitute clear communications into the unknowns, which are not vague, meaning vagueness is inappropriate to filling in gaps of meaningful information, yet the recognition concerned with detecting the areas of vagueness within one's thought is akin to identifying gaps in meaningful information in need of consolidation into well-defined categoricals, prior existing well-defined clarifications meaningfully communicated, allowance for the further defining of the unknown unknowns within the gaps in meaningful information, to think more creatively and engage more creative conducts one ventures forthcoming into the unknown unknowns, admits to the self thinking more creatively, productively, and or proficiently in association to the proactivities of one's thinking meaningfully, cultivating the intra-categorical and or inter-categorical effectivenesses and or efficiencies within the lucanage de apostosu informação, allowing one to cultivate more meaningfulness, connecting the subjectivo-objectivo relationships to instantiate and or substantiate original thinking amongst to engage self-conducted learning within the substantiations to fill in gaps in meaningful information appropriate within one's due course, progressing more fairly in an evaluation of the meanings one infers within the analytic terms, well-defined direct and or indirect analytical meanings, connect analytic meaning interpretations, direct and or indirect analytical meaning interpretations associated to the connections between one's thinking prior, allowances for direct and or indirect associative analytical meaning interpretations to make sense of complexities within the intra-categoricals and or inter-categoricals effectivenesses and efficiencies one perceives into the unknown unknowns with interpretation, meaning one engages perspectival processes in thinking as to the possible probabilistic meaningfulness within the gaps of information one perceives in relation to the shaping and or defining of meaning into the unknown categoricals to make sense of complexity, fitting what works to the unknown unknowns as it is appropriate and not inappropriate, meaning that internal and or external validity, as it must be good enough and necessarily necessary conditions, work in relation to the satisfaction of underlying meaningful criteria, be it the internal and or external conditions are met, satisfies certain underlying psychological needs appropriate to creative conduct. One may engage more creativities within the filling in of gaps within meaningful information, appropriate to one's desired direction of meaningful effect, to engage the cultivations of value within the direction of desired meaningful effect, appropriate to the introspective analysis one is conducting in relation to exploring the unknown unknowns. That's all I want to say for this video. Hope you have an awesome one. Keep looking those ups to the dodge.